necessitates additional resources. I urge, therefore, donors to support early recovery in areas of return. Similarly, the long-term reconstruction needs are even greater and will require sustained commitment of international donors. While about 80% people have returned home, there are still approximately 2 million internally displaced people. Furthermore, we should also not forget that Pakistan is still generously hosting about 1.7 million registered Afghan refugees. Finally, the longer-term task of rebuilding infrastructure must begin now. The World Bank and the Asian Development Bank have already assisted the government in developing the damage need assessment report, which is already there, and we know that the total figure for that is close to $1.2 billion. And this is the assessment of any infrastructure damage and immediate requirements as we see them. Work is also ongoing with obviously the US, with the UN also, and the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank on the post-crisis need assessment, the PCN. Timely reconstruction is critical to achieve our humanitarian development and security objectives. And as you all know, the leadership of this country has always said that we are fighting not one but two wars. One in the area where the military is operating, and the second war is in the towns and cities where these people will return. If there is no sustainable peace, if development cannot be handed out to them, if they cannot see it to be better than they were, and if they cannot be assured of lasting peace, security and development for them, we all know what the consequences are going to be. And the consequences, unfortunately, are not only going to be limited for that area or for Pakistan, they are going to be stretched far, far, far greater than that. Therefore, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have developed indeed a collaborative strategy for the PHRP 2010 to ensure effective involvement of the government as well as the donors in the humanitarian relief and recovery efforts. I think from our previous experience we have seen that one cannot function without the other, and a close coordinated effort always leads to early successes. These strategies would take into account, of course, the mandates and comparative strengths and advantages of all the stakeholders and agencies in the field to produce the best value for money. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our combined efforts have so far borne fruit in very, very challenging times, and together we have accomplished a great deal. However, having said this, much more remains to be done, and I think all of you are witnesses to the fact that much, much more will need to be done, and no matter how hard we try, we will never be able to give these people what might be their rightful charge on all of us and on the facilities that we strive to provide for them. The Democratic Government of Pakistan is committed to sustain and strengthen its efforts to support early recovery and development in the affected areas. Therefore, we warmly welcome the timely initiative of the United Nations to launch the PHRP 2010 in participation with donor governments, international agencies, the international non-governmental organizations, and very, very importantly, the non-governmental organizations which are based within Pakistan. We are very happy to see our overwhelming part of this entire process. I thank you.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Let me at the outset convey the regrets of the Chief Minister and WFP and the Chief Secretary and WFP, who were planning to come to this meeting, but they were tied up in another meeting and they couldn't come. Let me also say that it is a very important day for the province of NWFP. It is because we are not only hosting our own dislocated people, but we are also hosting the dislocated people from Pata. And the area of the province which is feeling the most pressure is the province of NWFP. So we indeed welcome a framework, a plan like the Pakistan Humanitarian Response Plan. This launch and this plan, we believe, will immensely help us, since we do not have the capacities to look after a caseload of such a huge magnitude. When I say huge magnitude, it is not just the dislocation from Malakand division, which normally people refer to as the 2.5 million dislocations which we saw last year, but I'm also talking about the more than 200,000 people who came out of South Waziristan, and I'm also talking about more than 100,000 people who came out from Hora Narsai, the regions which are still unstable and we're not sure as to when will the people go back. On behalf of the government of NWFP, allow me to acknowledge the huge support which we have received from the humanitarian community in tackling the crisis that emanated from the last year's action against miscreants. We are pretty sure and we believe that we wouldn't have done it without the support of the humanitarian community. PHRP carries a lot of importance for provincial government on many counts. Last year's PHRP, or the flash appeal, it was made in the mid of the year, and that basically handicapped a lot of our international partners to allocate resources, since they do their budgeting mostly in the beginning of the year. So we believe that this PHRP will be more fruitful and more beneficial and more helpful to the international community and to the provincial government, since this is the time that a lot of the international partners will be making their budgetary allocations. We also believe that this PHRP will enable us to work in a more coordinated, in a more coherent manner. The magnitude of the crisis is such that no single organization can tackle it on its own. The provincial government, as I said, it has its own capacity issues, it has its own financial constraints, and on the one hand, if it is looking after the security needs of the province, which have increased manifolds, looking after such a huge caseload of IDPs is always difficult, and we believe that this framework, this plan provides us that coherence and that coordination which we require from our partners, both national and international. Our institutional response capabilities at the provincial level are still very low. The disaster management authorities which were established in 2008, they yet have to gain that ability or acquire that capacity which can respond to such a situation. So again, that makes it more important. And as I said, that we are not only hosting, and we were not only hosting the dislocated people within our own province, but all the dislocations, every single dislocation that happens in FATA, we host all those communities inside NWFP. And a good example is that right now we have more than 1.1 million people living there outside their areas of origin. And out of those, 65% are people hailing from FATA. The largest camp, that is the Jalozai camp, having a population of 112,000 people, 98% of the people residing in that camp are from FATA. So it's not just taking care of our own people, the people who are domiciled in NWFP, but it's also on a humanitarian basis taking care of another region, and for that obviously the province do need resources outside its own budgetary allocations. The process, or the PHRP and the process which it adopted was a lot different, at least for the provincial government. Since, as I said, that it moved in a structured manner, it started way back in September last year. The cluster approach, the suggestions coming from the clusters, frequent consultations with the government agencies, every provincial government agency involved in its own areas of operation, that has enabled the provincial government to gain an expertise which was not there earlier. That has given them some exposure to planning for a humanitarian response like the PHRP. And we believe that this is basically one good step towards building the capacities of the provincial government department so that they can respond to such like eventualities in the future. Let me assure on behalf of the provincial government to the humanitarian community that our support for meeting the common goal will continue. We shall strive together to accomplish our task in a more coordinated manner. In the end, let me officially acknowledge the untiring efforts of the humanitarian coordinator, Mr. Magwanja, UN OSHA led by Mr. Besler, and all the team which work on the